like to introduce our keynote speaker. Actually, I think Alexander does not really need an introduction. You all know he's the CEO of Euronav, of CMB, so I don't think that he needs me to go through his bio, but I will say you one thing. We are delighted and honored to have him with us today. One of the things that you have at least my utmost respect is the fact not only that you are a very accomplished ship owner, which you are, not only that you have a grand vision, but also for the amazing ability to turn that vision into reality. A lot of people have visions, a lot of people are thinking of strategy, but turning that vision and strategy in practice into reality, I think that is a particularly amazing trait. So you have my full respect for that. And we are particularly honored to have you with us today to share into your amazing vision and capability to turn that into reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these kind words. And even though you say I don't need to be introduced, allow me to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alexander Saverys. I'm the CEO of CMB and Euronav, two shipping companies that are based in Antwerp, Belgium. And for those of you who don't read Tradewinds or the other specialized press, we were the ones that were involved in the takeover battle for Euronav with Mr. John Fredrickson. And a lot has been said and written about our family, our company, and our vision for the future of shipping. And the world of maritime Wall Street has been particularly critical of us. Not aided, of course, by an unprecedented campaign waged against CMB by the previous management of Euronav. I'm therefore very happy that I can deliver this keynote speech in the lion's den, so to speak, to give you our side of the story and clear some misconceptions. Let me start with a very brief history of our group. Our family has been involved in shipping since 1828. We started as a small fishing boat builder and grew throughout the 19th century to first become one of the leading yards in Belgium and later, after the Second World War, one of the reference yards in Europe. Competition from Japan in the 70s and the 80s hit our yard very badly, and we had to reinvent ourselves by becoming ship owners and ordering the vessels for our own account. In 1991, we took a controlling stake in CMB, Compagnie Maritime Belge, a stock-listed company in Brussels. A couple of years later, in 2004, we spun off Euronav as a separately listed entity focused on crude oil tankers. Our stake in Euronav fell below 5% a couple of years ago, but we built up our shareholding again to 25% since 2021 during our takeover battle with Mr. Fredrickson. And as most of you probably know by now, we found an agreement with Mr. Fredrickson, with Frontline, to take over his 28.5% in the company, and we sold him 24 VLCCs in what is probably the largest tanker sale and purchase deal in the history of shipping. Last month, we have acquired 100 ships owned by CMB Tech. We want to rename our group CMB Tech, and Euronav will remain the tanker division brand name. Today, our group owns more than 150 ships in dry bulk, crude oil tankers, offshore wind, chemicals, and containers, with an enterprise value of $7.5 billion, and we also invest in the production of green fuels. The strategy of our group has been centered around diversifying our cargo base and investing in the energy transition of shipping. We believe that a diversified shipping group with a strong focus on decarbonization will create more value in the long run than a pure-play tanker or dry bulk owner. In a very risky business of shipping, we believe it is sound to diversify risks by investing in different shipping segments. We also believe that our customers need green ships due to a vast array of new regulations coming into place and the pressure they are feeling from their customers and stakeholders to decarbonize. We see this as a huge opportunity for our industry and our company, not a threat. Our fuels of choice today are hydrogen for small ships, and ammonia for large ships, but we continue to monitor alternative fuel options, including green methanol. And with all this being said, we are not ashamed to say that we will continue to transport coal and oil, because with the money we collect from trading these fossil fuels and the sale of our tankers and our bulkers, we will be able to accelerate our investments in the ships of the future. We will use carbon to decarbonize. Does that make sense? We think it does. But clearly a big part of the maritime investing community didn't or doesn't. We have been a bit surprised by the many negative reactions to our refusal to merge with Frontline and our diversification and decarbonization strategy. We thought, and still think, that our view is pure common sense. Why then did the whole analyst community reacted very negatively to our ideas and thought, or probably still think, we have the wrong strategy? Is it a belief that bigger is always better? That you can somehow generate synergies by merging shipping companies, even though this has been proven wrong time and time again? A belief that a pure-play larger shipping platform will attract the long-onlys of this world? That stocks miraculously start trading above NAV because the company is bigger, not better run? That the best-run companies in the world don't have a reference shareholder and are managed by technocratic boards who know everything about Wall Street but nothing about the Malacca Strait? A belief that quarterly dividends are the holy grail, regardless of what the stock does once the cycle has turned? We disagree with these beliefs. We believe that pure-play shipping story is a thing of the past, and we believe that shipping companies who don't embrace the energy transition will disappear. And even though we are passionately convinced about our strategy and the direction we need to sail, we are not dogmatists and are pragmatic about the way we want to develop our business. Allow me, therefore, to clarify a few misconceptions about the energy transition in shipping that are still commonplace in our industry. The energy transition does not mean we need to go from 100% carbon to 0% overnight. Whoever states this doesn't know which immense task our industry has on its hands. We believe that dual-fuel engines are a perfect tool for the next decades to allow shipping to transition from diesel to green molecules. One can start by injecting 5-10% of green fuel and gradually increase this all the way to 95% until monofuel solutions like fuel cells or even nuclear reactors are cheap and reliable enough to install on board of our ships. Stop thinking regulations will change or go away. Regulators everywhere in the world, including the IMO, have decided by 2050 greenhouse gas emissions by shipping have to be reduced to practically zero. So either you accept a new reality or you go into politics and try to change the law. We can produce sufficient green fuels for our industry. Yes, it will take a lot of money and technological advances, but it is feasible in order to green shipping. We only need $50 billion a year until 2050. That compares with roughly $700 billion of new expected investments in oil and gas in 2024 alone. So 50 billion is substantial, but doable. There's a huge untapped potential of renewable energy that can be used to produce green molecules. Shipping needs these molecules because electrons and batteries don't work for big ships. Finally, a few misconceptions about CMB Tech. It has been said that we don't like dividends. That's not true. We like dividends. We like dividends a lot. We have paid $3.7 billion in dividends in our companies over the last 20 years. But we don't want to be tied to a fixed payout. We will discretionarily decide on what to pay depending on the results of the company and opportunities we see that can create value. CMB Tech is not some dodgy, overvalued hydrogen startup. CMB Tech owns 106 ships, including more than 40 new buildings, worth more than $3.5 billion, most of which are generating or will generate good cash flows. We have $2 billion of time charter backlog. CMB Tech is a large shipping company with real ships and real cash flows. And lastly, I'm not a member of Greenpeace, unlike my predecessor, and I flew to New York. I didn't take the zero carbon train from Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, our industry is at crossroads. 42% of all cargo transported on board of commercial seagoing vessels is either oil, gas, coal, or their derivatives. One day these volumes will decline and make some of our ships redundant. That day may come sooner than you think. We also need to replace 300 million tons of diesel by cleaner, greener fuels, not by choice, but because regulations will force it upon us or are already in place. The question then is, how do you adapt to this rapidly changing environment? Do you hope it will go away and keep on doing more of the same? Or do you start turning the tanker before it's too late? At the last shareholder meeting of Euronav, and we've had quite a few of the past year, a small private shareholder came to me and said, "Mr. Saverys, your ideas are great, but since you announced the deal with Frontline, your stock has been flat and Frontline is up 25%. Show me the money." I could have given him technical arguments about why our stock is being held back by the mandatory takeover offer that is ongoing, but instead I said, "Sir, you are right. And I have 107 million reasons, which is the number of shares we own in Euronav, to make sure I will show you the money. We don't just have skin in this game. We are in this game with all our skin, all our heart, and all our passion." Thank you very much.